And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle.
God, I didn't have that announcement right.
Almost. We're getting close.
Almost. Hey, good morning.
Hey there. So,
getting skinnier and skinnier.
I'm trying. You know,
I was good too. I've only gained 3 pounds back that I lost, but I had a lot of shit going on.
I had 2 Thanksgivings last week, and I only gained like 2 pounds. So God, that's awesome. I think I did all right.
That's awesome. Hey, I want to take it real quick. I want to reach out. Is Hans right on, dude? Hey, how's it going, bud? Good morning, Facebook users.
Yeah, the ones that say Facebook user, unfortunately, they're watching from within a group, and because of group rules, it doesn't show their names.
Gotcha.
That's all right.
Yeah, Mike's Auto Detailing. What's up, man? Hey, Corey, good morning. Hans, good morning. Facebook users, good morning. God, we got to go. We got a lot. Mike's Auto Detailing in the house. We've got God. There's a lot of people named Facebook user.
Yeah, well, it could be from the Beadmaker Lounge group. It could be from the Mafia group. It could be from, I think there's one other. But anyway, at least those 2.
Oh, look at this. Check this out. Automorphic Detailing. Is that how you pronounce it? That's a cool name.
That's what do you call it? Oh, now my mind went blank. It's
that's a cool name.
It's Ronnie and Shang.
Oh no, yeah, you know what it is. Shit, my bad. God, I love that name. I didn't even recognize it at first. Hey, Josh, welcome. He's on. Frank, what's up, dude? Sarah, what's up? And Mr. Munoz is in the house. Whoa.
Hey, Rick Walling's on.
Rick, what's up, dude? He's well, I'll tell you, those guys that don't know Rick, we're exactly the same age. I'm almost to the day. Did you know that, Chris? We're just a couple days apart in age.
My buddy Pete's on too, up in Northern California.
Pete, what's up, dude? Pete's good dude.
Yeah.
So Rick's been at it a long time, man. He's a wealth of information, and it's pretty cool. He showed me some stuff in business and tricks that we've brought into teaching, not just the people that we train here in the shop, but also just speaking and stuff. We share his messages all over the world. I've talked about it. So pretty amazing guy. But so hey, today's podcast, Renny Doyle Podcast, year-end actions that true entrepreneurs do. So we're going to start kind of. I'm going to kind of share what through the years of what we've done with our different businesses. This time of year, I think it's pretty average with people that are pretty seasoned in business, but I think that we're going to maybe kind of show you guys some new ways of thinking and doing things and all that. Before we get started, I got some stuff to cover. First off, we lost a serious pillar, for a friend in the industry, Chris Evans, Detailer's Dictionary author, a couple books, amazing man. Unfortunately passed away very, very young. This guy is Chris. I never saw him without a smile. He always had kind words. He was so, to put a dictionary together, I didn't really understand it. And I've got his signed copy. I should have brought it over, that I've had all these years of the first book, but it's just more of what we talk a lot about, Chris, is that you just, there's an expiration date on all of us. And, you don't know when that expiration date is.
The number's hidden, that's for sure.
It is. And so, our hearts go out. Rest in peace, Chris. We'll see you again. And to his family, kind of sad. Little brighter note today, funny story with Diane. So Diane does not drink coffee. My wife does not like coffee. And I got this bougie, as she calls it, coffee machine, right? Chris has seen it. It's kind of a discussion. Although the last group, man, I'll tell you, our cost per cup now everybody's saying, even the I sent our CPA, we're going to get into CPA. As I said, she kind of bitched at me too for spending that much money on a coffee machine. But I sent her the report, because you can make reports on how many drinks, and though I think I originally told you, Chris, they drank about 70 cups. That was off by 30 cups. They drank just shy of 100 cups while they're here, which I did because now the cost, I'm down at kind of high end of Starbucks per cup. So the cost per cup's coming down. So if you're here with me, please. So funny story. So Diane comes out and she has this foo-foo drink at work, right? And Diane got a really good opportunity. We'll go into that another time, but she actually took a full-time career position, which is I'm really proud of her. But this morning we get up and I'm out doing it. She goes, maybe I'll try something. And so I make what I make. It's called a flat white. And she smells it. And she goes, nah, I don't want that taste in my mouth all day. And I was like, you sissy. But she almost did it. And so I'm gonna put a hidden camera up. We've got security cameras. I think I'm gonna reinstall one right there, just get her, see if she likes it or if she makes a funny face when she has it. But I think she's gonna like it. So we talked a little bit. Thanksgiving was just this last week.
I had my two Thanksgivings. I had to didn't have to. I mean, but make it sound like it's a chore. But my in-laws were in town, so my wife's sister and her 4 kids. So they came from Iowa, and so with my wife's side of the family, there were about 20 people around all the time. So even though we kind of took the week off, laid low, it wasn't all that quiet of a week. But But then I had a second Thanksgiving with my mom and dad on Sunday. Because every other year we have to move the schedule around to accommodate everybody's families. But
I remember those days.
But I only gained 2 pounds all week. So I did, I think that's a win in most cases.
Oh, I think that's good.
And I still fit into this shirt. I have to bring this shirt up because I've been waiting to wear this shirt for a year.
You look good, man. You look good. I'm really proud of you.
A Porsche with a Christmas tree on top. So
right.
I couldn't wear it in July.
I blew it because I had a cool shirt that you haven't seen yet, but I got up and went out walking with Boomer this morning. So our plans kind of changed. Is we were supposed to go on a Boomer and I, Diane, with her new career, she couldn't leave unfortunately. So Boomer and I were going to take and deliver our Chevelle back to a buddy of ours, Rodneck's, back in Kentucky for a restoration. And so we just kept running into snags, and I haven't rented a U-Haul in a long time. But you can't find trailer. You can't find U-Hauls. I went here locally, and they had like one truck in the whole town and no car hauling trailers, not even any dollies. Not that I'd tow it with a dolly. So that was the first struggle. But then, when we decided, okay, we're not going to do that. The expense was crazy, and so we're just going to buy a trailer. I'll use it for something else eventually. But then Boomer kind of had a little bit of a setback, is that our normal vet that's up here is going into private practice. You haven't even heard this. Is going into private practice. So they had a new vet come in at our animal hospital up here, and she's really not too. I'm sure she's a great vet, but she's not great for Boomer. He's 14 and a half. He's got a heart condition. And so he was having some problems, and she just wasn't getting it. And so I got to take him down today to see a specialist. But that was the second thing. But him and I did get out in camp. We went 4-wheel driving. But while we're on that trip off-roading with the overland rig, is brand new airbags put in, and the driver's side airbag completely failed. We can't. It's not holding air at all. And so we're going to kind of change the system over and go with a Bluetooth system and build it like it was. So we ended up having Thanksgiving here. It was really cool to be around Darren and Diane and Juan. It was just small, just 4 of us and all the dogs, and went out and rode the horses, and life's good.
Cool.
So, hey, December is my favorite month. You dig?
Yeah.
Do you dig December? You like Christmas time?
I do. It always comes up really fast, goes by really fast, and is always really busy. But other than that, it's good.
It is. I remember, your dad, you got young kids still, and I remember those days. Ours is, we've got one part-timer. Darren's going to school, and it's kind of sad. It's cool. She wanted to really hang out lately, and so we had a busy night last night, but we hung around. And have you seen the new series Wednesday?
Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah, so
I heard about it though.
Yeah, so we're watching that. It's actually pretty good. So we started that last night, and night before. But it's pretty cool when your adult kids want to hang out with you, and her and her boyfriend, and makes me pretty proud. So the other kids are all over the freaking country and doing their thing, and just reality, right? So hey, I also wanted, Chris doesn't know that this is on the notes, but a lot of people don't realize how much work Chris puts into the podcast, well, into everything we do. But I just wanted to publicly say, Chris, thanks for all the efforts. You do a lot, and there's a lot of times you're looking at notes, late at night, and the good news about this is we just outlined basically the next 9 or 10 episodes, in this last week, because both of us, we took some time off, but we didn't take as much time off as we should have. But we still had a pretty good, we didn't work too hard, but
no, you got to stay on top of things though.
You do, but I wanted to say thank you, and Chris does a lot, and you guys shout out some love to him, because he does a great job of keeping this thing going. So with that, you want to dive into this and
yeah, let's
jump
do
in,
it.
because you've become such a huge, massive part of how you and I are both thinkers, and we put things out there. We like things neat and tidy. You much more than me, but I'm a visionary, and then you bring all the loose strings together, right? I think we really complement each other that way.
Well, it's a visionary and implementer relationship there.
There you go. That's exactly it. And so the year end is really, it's right here. And planning for the new year is important, but planning for the year end is important. And I kind of want to take in a lot of you, this might be some review, but I think there's going to be some nuggets in here for everybody, or at least I hope so. And so here's what's been happening in my life the past couple months. And I'm just going to run through this, is that we really took and we scheduled out, and this is something that I implemented, and I wanted Chris and I to do it. You guys all hear that he doesn't go on enough vacation, but what you don't know is I don't either. And we've been working really hard. Somebody said the other night, God, man, dude, you look tired. And I was like, well, fuck, I worked my ass off. Chris works his ass. Yeah, I look tired.
No. November was literally was our busiest month of the year.
Yeah. 21 days for me. I think 21 days, pretty close to that for you. 21 days in a row. We just didn't stop. Yeah. Right. And so, we scheduled out our important moments of time. Is that I said, Chris, we're not going to do in 2023 what we did in 2022. We're going to fit in our business into our life, not our life into our business. And so I was really proud. You guys will know that Chris went through and scheduled, all of his wife's vacation time and days off and everything else. And we're working around that schedule. And then I went in and did the same thing. And I think that's important. We used to do that all the time, but just things got busy. Right. And, one of the things that I did this for, and I was telling a really good friend of mine last night, he's a JAG officer in the Guard, is that I've got this, I've been volunteering for major things and putting a lot, not writing checks. I'm talking my time since I was a teenager. And I really want to get back to that. I have this sense, it's been search and rescue. I've done stuff with homeless. I've done all kinds of different things, but I'm looking for something that I can really sink my teeth into, and really it's about helping others. And I'm not sure where that's going yet, but I want to get back to that. That's my roots. It's a huge part of my life in this last few years. Well, COVID really put a damper on it, right? For so many things, but even aside from that, I just really want to give, and I'm not bullshitting. It's been something that's been a huge part of me. And I thought it was really important to schedule out some time to give. And I asked Chris to do the same thing. And so with that those were action items we took. And then next from there, we're no dummies. The economy's changing, and so we've really connected at a much more intense level with our bookkeeper, our financial planner, and our CPA. Now we're lucky because our bookkeeper and our financial planner are two in the same. It's a company, it's a family-owned business, One spouse does all the bookkeeping, the other one does all the financial planning, and then their CPA, our CPA, they've worked together for years too, and I'm really tracking our numbers carefully, and I'm really listening to their input, and they're financial experts, and they're very, very careful, and we literally sit down and talk about every week right now, or at least bi-weekly. And so I'm watching the economy. I'm watching our numbers. We're trying to put really accurate graphs together because we want to see what things do. And we want to get not just, it's not just for right now, it's for the future too. And so we want to see what we do and how we do. And so we're doing that right now. We're tracking the market, or at least the stocks and the retirement accounts, and when things get like this in the economy, I tend to be conservative. I really pull back. I'm not looking at high risk things. I'm looking at maintaining my money. And then when things get better, then I go a little stronger. And with that being said, though, I'm not conservative when it comes to gaining market share in our other businesses, meaning that I know people are going to be weaker and I'm going to be stronger. And so while I'm conservative on long-term investments, I'm very, very aggressive on going after our business. Oh, we got music going.
Sorry about that. That was me.
You're cool. And then I'm tracking real estate. Is that, back between 2008 and 2016, there was a lot of opportunities that came up, especially in the 2008 through 2012, is that I found a lot of really cool opportunities to jump on real estate wise that was owner financing and real creative things that people, things weren't selling. So people that were a little older or a little wealthier were coming up with really creative ways to sell properties. And I took advantage of that. And we're really going to take advantage of it this time. I check my financial health app daily. What's that mean is our bookkeepers and they basically set up a dashboard like a car, and it just tells me where I'm at every single day. It gets automatically updated. They go in and feed it information at least 3 days a week. And I can look at things instantly. I can look at sales cycles and compare it to years past, months past, quarters past, weeks past. If I go into week 53 of last year and the year before, I can compare them, all kinds of cool things. I'm looking for patterns of change. I'm analyzing our businesses and what we're doing. I'm analyzing our marketing, paying attention to what's working, what's not working, what's out there. Are we wasting money? It's not necessarily, when you go into a challenging economy, it's not what you're making, it's about what you're spending. And so I'm really conservative on that. I've got weekly financial advisor meetings, as mentioned, as we go over the general finance health and make sure that everything's good. I'm looking at before tax contributions. This is huge. And I don't care if you're brand new, you need to be looking at this. Is young people, or it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're 20 or you're 60, is that you got to put away. And so I'm looking at different, Diane got really aggressive with this career that she's got. She just had this amazing opportunity. She's kind of bored. She's stay-at-home mom and worked in our various businesses really hard through the years. And then now with us having to outsource so much of the financial stuff just because we should, right? And it's not her forte, this was a great opportunity for her. And she's just stacking retirement for us. It's pretty cool. But I'm also looking at health savings accounts, and I'm looking at other opportunities that are out there for before tax contributions, so where we can take and be rewarded for what we're making, but not pay taxes on it now and have a nest egg for later. Right now is that I usually have, I'd say I talk to my CPA at least once a month normally. Right now, it's at least bi-weekly, is that we're looking at projected tax liabilities. Do I need to invest before the end of the year right now? Last year is 2021. We got a call a little past, it was the second quarter, just the start of the second quarter. And our CPA said, hey, buy a truck. You're going to need a write-off. Is sell the truck you got now. And I really didn't want to. I was like, well, I really don't need a new truck. My truck's only got 50,000 miles. It's 7 years old. It's in great shape, looks brand new. But her point was, well, you're either going to go buy it or you're going to give that exact amount of money to the government. And so we went out, we listened to her, we bought it. And boy, I'll tell you, it saved us a lot of money by doing that. Again, I've said our tax liabilities. A lot of people don't know what that is that whether you're a sole proprietor, I want to know what, if you're filing at the end of the year, you got to be putting money away to file those, and you got to kind of have an estimate. And so we do quarterly, filings just to make it a little easier. And so we do an estimated a lot of times, and sometimes we overpay. We never underpay. We try to overpay, and we don't try to get it right on the dime. We're always a little over. It works out in the end. It's fine, right?
I do the same thing. I pay him quarterly, and I try and pay a little bit more than I think, just to be on the safe side. Somebody, who was it that once said, I don't know who it was, but if the well, anyway, I forgot. It doesn't matter, but I'd rather play it safe.
No, well, exactly it, and that way too. A lot of people don't think about that. Is the quarterly thing is a lot of small business getting tax situations, right? Well, by going quarterly, it makes it so much easier to do. And it's not just it doesn't matter if you're a bigger company or a smaller company. It doesn't matter. Listen, we're all small companies in the grand scheme of things. It's just how small are you and how big of a small company are you? And so, basically looking at it and treating it that way is really smart. It makes it easier, and it's pretty cool. Like, we got a letter from the state of California, asking about our payroll taxes. And so as soon as I got that, I fired it off to our bookkeeper, and I got confirmation of a letter being sent back to the state response that really put them in check with everything. And so it's really nice to have those relationships. The other thing we're doing right now is we're doing basically a deep dive into our profit and loss statements. Is that it's already done for us. We've looked at the second, first and second quarter. First quarter we did it during the second quarter, and then the second and third quarter we really just dove in. Well, by doing that deep dive, is that I took and was able to communicate some things that my CPA didn't understand. It ended up saving us thousands of dollars by doing that deep dive, by going in and just communicating our intent and what we're using different things for. Things that she didn't totally understand were actual business expenses, or she didn't understand, or she told me, hey, you need to put this in the company's name, or there's a lot of different variations. But the point is that when she got clarification of where my mind was, is that she's able to go to work and on our behalf. The other thing we do now is there's a push for payments. Is that one of the things that we've worked on for over the 20 years? Diane's done a really good job at this, is building up our line of credit. I've talked about that a lot on the podcast, and we've basically for the last 2 decades have really, and it's not that we use it. It's not, even though if we don't need it, but what it is the line of credit. It's really nice to grow and to do things with that money for your business, but it's also there for us in case we do need it. And so, we had a situation just arise to where I had to say, look, man, we need to get this, we need to get some payments going, because it's going to make our third and fourth quarter kind of look bad if we don't get these payments. And we've worked too hard to, screw up our good outlook with our financial institutions that work with us. And so, I went to the companies, and I told them what we needed, and it all worked out. But that was talking to our CPA and her and me understanding how important it was on something that I didn't think was a real big deal. And it ended up, it's gonna really save us some heartache in the long run.
And whether you operate on a calendar year or a fiscal year, getting your accounts receivables all, squared away before the end of that year is really important, for not only your books, but also for their books, to be honest, and
it is.
And then in addition to that, you might be thinking, oh, I'm just a detailer, I don't have huge accounts receivables, and hopefully you don't. Hopefully you're getting paid right off the bat. But as your businesses grow and you've developed relationships with, either other companies nearby or even car dealerships or whatever it is, you might have as much as 30-day terms on some things. You just want to make sure that's getting taken care of timely.
Absolutely. And then there's other things, there's benefits, if you can get paid on things, and then if you've got capital investments you need to make, equipment for your company, those are, talk with your tax professional, those may be write-offs. So if you've got, if you're making it, again, our goal is to pay our fair share and pay our taxes, but on the same token is use what the IRS has set out as write-offs legitimately. And so a lot of the times by getting paid is not only are you helping your books, like you just said, Chris, but you're also helping your company and improving your equipment and your business, maybe even property, whatever it may be. But you're also reducing that tax liability because that money you're using is going to a good source and you can write it off. And so there's big picture things that you need to start thinking about. And then, we always ask ourselves is what went right and what didn't we like? It's not all profits are good profits, and a lot of people don't see that. There's things that, there's times it might be a service that you're selling. It might be a customer that you really, it's no longer worth it, and you've got to look at those things. As we had customers that were really hard to deal with their staff, and some of our staff just didn't mind it because they were regulars and it, kept us all business. But then there's a staff that were you just knew they didn't have, it just wasn't worth it. And so you've got to look at those things. It's not all money is good money, is what I taught when I was younger. And so you got to think about that. But then ask yourself some really, really hard questions as entrepreneurs is did my business, support my life? Am I working my life into the ground while I'm doing the business? I mean, hey, look, you're gonna have to work your ass. I still work my ass off all these years later, but you've got to be able to take in. I'm never going to put the brakes on. Never going to put the brakes on. I just can't imagine. But I do like to go on country roads every once in a while. You don't always have to be on the freeway. You can take the scenic route, and is your business allowing you to take that scenic route? Do I have the right team in place for next year? Do I have the right team in place right now? You got to ask yourself that. Is my culture on point internally, externally? That's the hard facts. And so many entrepreneurs, they don't ask themselves, what's the outside image doing? What are people saying? Is my compensation on point with key players? Am I treating my staff right? Are they prospering? It's one thing for you to prosper, but for your key players is that you need to look at not just the pay you're giving them, but the lifestyle that you're giving them. What's a bad economy going to do to us? What's it going to look like for my business? If you're a single person shop, is on a big shop, is there dead weight that I can cut? Is there things that I can eliminate? Are there more services I can bring in? Are we doing too little with too many? Or are we doing too much with too few? There's the other side. Am I burning people out? If you're a single person shop, if things slow down, how do you survive this? These are all things that we've already got planned out for the entire year. What are we looking at? How can I go from just surviving to thriving? I don't want to take and just survive the situation. At some point, I want to get through the slow time, and then I want to start growing. And so that might be a part-time gig to help you along. I did that. If so, what puts me in front of prospects? My wife and I both did this in the early days of our business, and we've contemplated it during different hard times in the economy, and I've said it many times. Diane went out and I'd be detailing all day, and then we started other businesses up, and Diane would go and do fine dining, service at night, and I taught skiing in the wintertime, when it was a little slower. We both grounded out, man. And there was a portion for the first couple of winters that we actually had wintertime full-time gigs, and our business was kind of part-time. And what it did is we thrived. We gained market share that way. We weren't hurting. and we paid our bills, and sometimes it was tight, but we did it. Well, I need to turn my business into a part-time side hustle for a bit to survive and to get me into a thrive position. I did this too. And again, so did my wife. Is we had to, for the first couple of years, it became part-time for short periods. But look what happened. I mean, the rest is history. Is we knew it, we recognized it, we weren't going to let, our pride get in our way. We still don't do that. Even through hardships, man, I can tell you this. I can count on her and she can count on me. I gave her a card at the last training. I've started, Chris, the handmade cards I give you guys, and I always try to put a special message in there. And I gave one to Diane, and, she was in tears because of what I put in there. She's just, is thick and thin, is we're going to get through it. There's nothing. Things don't really scare me anymore. I've been through too much, and do I worry about things? Oh yeah, I do. There's concerns, but me surviving and me prophetizing and me moving ahead in business, that's not one of my fears. I've gotten past that a long time ago. I think I've told this story so many times. Carol Shelby, I remember I was in person with a million other people, and he was giving a speech. I think it was it was at SEMA. And he goes, you could put me in the middle. He was, 80 something years old at the time. He goes, you could put me in the middle of Michigan in January with not a dime in my pocket and butt naked. And by summer, I'm going to be on top of it again because I know how to do it.
Yep.
And if that's not true.
And you've, that's exactly it, right? You've had the experience, you have the knowledge, but more importantly, you have the ambition and everything else to go out and do whatever you need to all over again, if you ever need to. I feel the same way. I don't worry about it like I used to either. I know that, if times ever get rough for me, not only can I, dig my own way out of it, but I've got a whole bunch of people behind me that are going to be there too, just in case.
Oh, absolutely.
And as long as all that's always in place, I'm going to be okay. May get uncomfortable for a little bit, but in the end, I'll be okay.
I always tell my kids, I'm the king of uncomfortable. As Diane and I, when we went through some really challenging times, when our family was really, really, really young. Our youngest one wasn't even around yet, but we made ourselves very uncomfortable so we could make our kids more comfortable, right? And sometimes I always say this, just something simple as this is, I take an every day when I get out of the shower in the morning or in the evening or both, man, that faucet goes to full cold water. And for me, I heard it's healthy for you, but it reminds me that nothing's too tough. And just like turning that water on for the last 60 seconds on pure cold, and up here in Big Bear this time of year, it's definitely cold. And we don't keep the house at 72 degrees. Our house kept about 68 degrees. I love it because it reminds me that every struggle is a short-term struggle, and that there's always big things ahead. And so, I think that I've watched you grow, Chris, even in the last 4 years, to where, I've seen you mature in your business outlooks in life. It's pretty cool. And likewise, like last night, my wife was sitting there and she's telling me, man, I can't, it's unreal to watch you to adapt to things, the way you've done it. So many people, when they get older at my age, just don't pivot. And
well, these last 4 years, working with you has definitely been invaluable, right? I mean, it's, not only has it just been a good experience, but it's been a good learning experience. And man, just the things that I've picked up, being around our trainings, around the members of our Detail Mafia, around you, around other people in the industry. I mean, if I had to go back and start things over again, holy cow, it would be a whole different experience than it was,
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, the people around us, I mean, everybody, listen, there's so many people, there's a long list of people that, going back to my earliest days, in business, that have pushed me forward. I didn't do this on my own. Everything I've done, even recently, it comes back to people in my life, Yep. And it's funny because you see that. I can always tell when somebody's going to really struggle, because when they get opportunity and they don't appreciate the opportunity, is you can see failure on the horizon. But when they do appreciate the opportunity, is that you can see that it's plain as day. It's plain as day. And so, unknown economics ahead. I mean, we don't know. Even when the economy's good, something could happen. Look what 9/11. I remember when in September 11th happened, we were rolling pretty good, economy, and it really set us back a little bit, right? I mean, nobody saw that coming. It was horrible. I mean, honestly, at that point, the economic side of it was, we're a different country and world back then. I mean, we just came together, but we were concerned, but we had people coming out of the woodwork and we grew. It's like COVID, shutdown. We never saw anything. The world hadn't seen anything in modern day times like that, right? We grew, a lot of us. And when I say we, I mean entrepreneurs in general. We grew. We did fine. And some people struggled, but that's just, process of natural selection. It's going to happen. I hate to say it. But it's with this is that, I come down right now, and I do this even in non-economic times and hardships, is I evaluate wants versus needs, and then categorize that as assets versus liabilities. So is it a tax savings? Is it something I can write off? And right now, if it's not something if I don't need it and I can't write it off, I'm not going to purchase it. And that's been pretty much my entire entrepreneurial career, is I've had that basic outlook on things, is want versus need. And I'm good at wanting, I'm really good. I went from need.
You and me both.
Right. We went from, want versus need. And we still, I really look at that. I'll be attacking the market. Is that we're not going to in our businesses, we're not going to sit back. Is we're going to plan it out. How, with who, what, all these different things. Is that, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to be gaining net worth. Is how do I do it? I plan it. I want people around me to grow, not suffer. How? Is we plan it. And that's really an important part of this, is that, we want people that with like energy, with like thinking. Everybody says, oh, you just want a bunch of clones. No, I want, here's the thing is why would you surround yourself with people that don't match your morals and values? It always blows me away when you go on to different, and it's not one industry or another. It's pretty much widespread across it. Is that, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and, serious white collar professional. Right. And we were talking a few months back, and he was saying it was the same thing, is that you'll see these people, and they'll say, oh, that group over there is such and such, they're all brainwashed. They're like thinking, is they're it's not that there's cliques. It's not that they think alike. And whether you like it or respect it or agree with it, that it doesn't matter. That's their decision, and they've made it. And if you're shitting on it, well, you're just a shithead. And it's true, because there's different strokes for different folks, very old saying. And I just, hey man, if somebody's part of something and I'm not, and I really don't want to be part of it, why would I even say anything? There's no upside to that other than you're opening your pie hole, And so it's just, it's as simple as that. So even then, people want to super grow their companies overnight, and they're putting out, they're putting out funds they don't have. And that's even people that come to training. We We don't want you to do that. We understand you're investing in your company, but if it's going to hurt you being here, this is not the right time for you to do it. I mean, I'm being 100% transparent, is that the last thing I want somebody to do is come and sit at this table on a Monday and, you know, they're hurting. That's not why you're here. Now, when you get to certain point, go ahead. Sorry.
We don't really have too many, we don't really have like too many options for financing training for that very reason, right? I mean, you shouldn't, we don't encourage nor feel like you should be going into debt to sit there. It's a dangerous hole to get into.
We could fill, and this isn't being cocky, we could fill up probably double the amount of trainings if we offered, and the financing's out there. It's not that we can't find it. Is that if somebody's got to finance it, it worries me. It worries me. It concerns me. Now, if they came to us and said, "Hey, do you have financing? I'd really like to write this off," and my accountant, okay, maybe we need to look at that side of it. But the other side of it is it's just not about the freaking money. It never has been, never will be. And so, that's what we're looking at, is all these different things. And so I'm going to end it with this is to me, this is just my opinion, is that for me, December is very spiritual. It's got a lot of meaning in my beliefs, but it's also got a lot of meaning in my memories of family. And we didn't have a whole lot, but I'll tell you what, Christmas Day was special to us. Putting up the Christmas lights. I don't know if you know this. My sophomore year, we were going sophomore, junior, senior. I can't remember. We were going to the playoffs in football, and we were getting ready. It wasn't Christmas, but I was putting up the Christmas lights on our house for my mom and grandma, and we had a tree near our fireplace, and we always loved to have a fire on Thanksgiving or Christmas if it was cool enough. In Southern California, we didn't have very many of those, but we did like it. And I got up and I was trimming this tree while there was Santa Ana winds, and it pulled me off the roof, landed on a piece of concrete, curved concrete, and broke a couple ribs, and had to play in a game the next night, Friday night, and with broken ribs. And my ribs took seriously, it sucked because my ribs didn't heal up for a while. But that's part of the memory. It's part of going back and enjoying that and living out the traditions and sharing those traditions with, telling stories about my mom and my grandma, my great grandma, my grandparents, and hearing Diane's, side of things. That's what's sacred, and our kids are scattered all over the country. But, I think this time of year, I would be a liar if I said I didn't work hard during this time of year, because it was busy for us. But the one thing I did was I was always home for Christmas, and we always tried to, one of our businesses that we owned is we went crazy the day after Christmas, and we stayed busy until well after New Year's. And I sold that company. We started the company, and Diane did a great job of running that company in our early days. And we kind of split tasks, as I was running, the detailing company, the shops. I was already working with product companies at that time, Shell. And so we split duties on that, but we sold that company because it was killing our family life. And I remember coming home one fall day, and I said, "Hey man, we're going to run this thing through the busy season of winter," because it was really quite successful in the winter. It was a good summer business too, but winter we just killed it. And we're going to sell it. And ironically, the next day we were approached about somebody buying it. And by that January, it was sold. It was pretty cool. So, hey, I forgot to ask you one question, and then we're going to close out. What was one, as a kid, go back to your favorite age, what was one gift that you always wanted that you never got?
Oh, goodness.
Mine was a go-kart. I always wanted a go-kart. We built go-karts in our neighborhood, but they always fell apart because they just, we were making them out of lawnmower frames and, riding lawnmower frames and, old Briggs and Stratton engines and wheels that, were wobbly, and we'd get them up to speed, and it was like the $6 Million Man commercial. It just remember the story. Do you remember the $6 Million Man?
Oh yeah.
Series? Yeah,
I do.
So,
it wasn't something I really watched, but I remember it.
I was really into it. And
I don't know the answer to that question. It's not that it's not because I've gotten everything I've ever wanted. It's just I don't think nothing stuck in my head.
Well, mine it did. Go-kart.
Yeah.
Man, oh God, I wanted a go-kart so bad.
I've always wanted a go-kart. I never had one, but I also never asked for one,
Well, you've got big guy go-karts now. You got several go-karts, you know, if you look at it that way. Well, hey, I hope this kind of helped, right? We put this together, and we're really excited about the future of these podcasts going into the new year. We still got a few more left for this year. We'll take off some time during the Christmas break, maybe do some reruns, of some of our more popular ones. We're also going to change something up, and I really want to take and kind of Ask Me Anything podcast where you submit questions and we answer the questions live on the podcast. So
I think that's a good idea.
I do too. And so I think that we can start doing that maybe every third or fourth podcast. We get a lot of requests, so why not incorporate it into the podcast? So, well, Chris, any closing comments before I get to take off and get Boomer down to his cardiologist?
I think that's it for right now. We do have next week we have another training week, so we have students coming in, and we got a really cool group of students coming. We got Brian Crosby from Detail Link out in Georgia. Jared Klassen is also out that way. Romero Torres is coming to training, and Ryan Ray, and then our interns are Michael Hill, which will be fun because he's the 50-pound brain, right?
Right.
And Chris Tabieros is coming. So it's gonna be a full house next week.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We had all of our classes are amazing. This last one we laughed a lot. We were cracking up. We got a lot of business done, but we laughed a lot. And the boys could drink coffee. So hey, make sure if you guys talk to Ann, tell her hey, we got to figure out a way to get her to. I got to sneak a camera in there when she does this because I don't know what to expect when she takes her first sip of my white. So
your masterpiece.
All right, guys, you're right. Yeah, man, I even customized it more last week on input from the guys, and I think I've got it nailed if I say so myself. And it's pretty damn good coffee. But Chris, thanks a lot, dude. I'm sure I'll talk to you a little later today, but I'll have I've got several hours of driving in front of me down there and back. Wish me luck with Boom. I hope everything, 14 years old. We always worry about him a little bit. It's a little stressful trip for him, but we got to go down and get his meds adjusted. And he was out this morning with me at 6 something this morning, out for his walk. And last night he kind of hurt himself a little bit because the coyotes were out and one must've got close and he went nuts. Well, he kind of hurt his leg or something and was limping a little bit. But I had to go out and make sure that, nothing was jumping over or he wasn't trying to get over anything. But almost 14 and a half years old, he still wants to go kill coyotes, and he has killed them. So, and then guess what? We just spotted just a couple miles away from us. Probably I've seen mountain lion, especially up in Idaho. I dealt with them up in the wild on a couple occasions. And I'm not kidding you, man. Darren and I had a run in. We've seen two here, her and I. We had not a face-to-face, but we were within, probably 50, 60 yards of a female, but she never got aggressive. Man, somebody just took a picture of a male. I mean, it was the biggest mountain lion. This thing was just muscled up.
Huh.
And so neighbors of ours caught a bobcat in their rabbit cage a couple weeks ago. Norman, that was here for the one day. His wife went out and heard screaming, and this bobcat had gotten into their rabbit cage and done some damage, but got stuck in there. So I'm like, how do you?
Reminds me of the coyote and the roadrunner.
Yeah, exactly. It's sitting there pacing and going nuts, and they got to go out and they've devised. He's a firefighter, so he devised a way to let it out in a way that he didn't get mauled. But hey, everybody, great having you on again. Thanks for all the love. We sure appreciate it. hope this helped. We love hearing your messages. Reach out to us, Renny at detailingsuccess.com, Chris at detailingsuccess.com. Chris, we'll talk to you later in the day. All have a good one, man. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Renny Doyle Podcast, brought to you by Detailing Success and PNS Double Black. Listen to new episodes weekly, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to share with your friends and colleagues.